and welcome to episode 21 of TBC The Board Crew. This is our CanCon special episode. I'm joined today by Bronson.
Hey.
And by Ben.
Hello.
And I'm Tony. We are going to be doing a rapid fire episode today, telling you about all the games we played while we were at the con and maybe a special message from hockey. All right, let's get into it.
All right, well, first game I'm going to talk about is Cities. This is by Phil Walker-Harding, an Aussie designer. And Cities is basically this nice little chill game where you're building these cities. And the cool thing that I liked about Cities was you actually get these cool little plastic pieces that you build the little skyscrapers up. So each person builds their own little city. But at the end of the game, you've got these cool looking cities with actual little skyscrapers and ponds and parks and all kinds of nice stuff. It was a nice chill little game.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Like Upwards, but, only in its verticality.
Yeah, I guess so. And more color-based than Upwards.
Yeah.
As opposed to word-based.
Cities. No, I don't think you're spelling that on it. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, my first game of the CanCon was The Magic Labyrinth. Bit of an older game, 2009. Actually, I jumped into a game when I met Tony at CanCon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was lovely. Yeah, we were setting up with my son and Bronson rocked up and he joined me in my misery of defeat from my son.
My goodness, yes.
He was so good at this game. It was a great game though. And recommended by Ben as well.
Oh,
Ben
wonderful.
recommended that one to
Great
us.
recommendation.
I do like recommending good games.
Yeah.
It was shameful to lose because there was no way that our competitor was cheating.
Yeah, no, because the whole thing with that game is you're these little tokens. You have a ball underneath, and you're moving around this board, and there's hidden walls underneath, so you can all of a sudden lose your ball.
Yeah, because it works with magnets.
Yeah.
You've got your piece above.
Yeah,
But you can't see the
and there's a
walls
little
below.
map underneath that you pre-make, and it was so cool because you were trying to work out. Well, is there a wall there? Is there a wall here? And he just flew through this damn maze, and Bronson and I just kept hitting these damn walls. But it was so much fun, really quick game.
Yeah, fun game. Shout out to Insane Clown Posse. Fun mechanic too. Really cool hardware. Fun game.
I also played Harmonies. This is really big on BGA at the moment. It's a really kind of sort of heavy family weight style of you take these tiles and you try and make habitats for animals. And it really feels for me like Spiel des Jahres bait. And it's got beautiful components, big chunky wooden pieces, and just this awesome sort of, I guess I would say it's like Cascadia meets Splendor.
Cool,
Fun
fun.
feel. I bought this game.
Ooh.
So
Wow.
that tells you I like it.
It's a
highly
buy.
recommend.
It's a recommended. Yeah, the first game I played at the con, which I took my son to, so a lot of mine were probably a bit more kid-based. But was one called Dragonwood, which was a push-your-luck game where you roll dice to try and capture different creatures and eventually try and capture these two dragons. Heaps of fun, nice and quick. It was great seeing him and having myself as well try and build up this massive amount of cards and then go, cool, I'm going to roll 6 dice and not achieve what we wanted to or achieve what we wanted to. There was joy in misery and in success. So highly recommended. A game right game, nice and cheap. Definitely get it.
Yeah, I really like Dragonwood actually.
Yeah. I mean, I bought it. So that was one that I bought.
Another certified buy.
Certified buy.
I played Flip 7. Flip 7 has on the front of the cover the greatest card game ever, which straight away for me sends red alarm bells of this person
That's a
has
flag.
no idea what they're talking about. This game does not suck. It's actually really fun. It is a really fun, light, push-your-luck style game where just everyone has a laugh. I reckon you'll probably hear Bronson reviewing about it after he's played it.
Yeah, it has been hyped. I'm looking forward to it. Nice. I've made a few promises to listeners already about the games that I'm going to play and review, but yeah, you heard it here first.
Vast in the last episode.
Vast in the last.
Goblins.
Yeah, and then, Flip 7. The best card game.
Yeah, the greatest card game ever. Look, I don't think it's the greatest card game ever, but it really does not suck, so it's great.
All right, I got into some Scribbly Gum, a newer game, and an Aussie game too. So that's pretty cool. Homegrown and hosed. Write and play. So if you're familiar with Hadrian's Wall and Welcome to, then Scribbly Gum is like that in that there's a pencil and paper.
And that's where it is. No.
It's the upwards to cities is Hadrian's Wall to Scribbly Gum. And if none of that made sense, you're not alone. But that's a different game. Scribbly Gum, bit of a maze that you're making as you go, and you're trying to let this little worm go on different parts of your map. Yeah, super fun, super achievable. Again, family game in that you could play it with a variety of ages and there wouldn't be handicaps. Or rather, you wouldn't need handicaps in order to make the game fair. Lots of fun, and love the Eric Carle-esque aesthetic.
Yeah, very Hungry Caterpillar feel to it.
Yeah.
But this is one that you own, Ben.
Yes, yeah, I own Squiggly Gum. I reckon it's a great gateway, welcoming style game to play with non-gamers, and works really well with kids with the theme as well.
Yeah.
Also by Phil Walker Harding.
Ooh, hey.
Then I played Duck Duck Llama. This one was still in prototype, so I don't want to make a full recommendation.
Well, it's designer fresh, this one.
Yeah, designer fresh. And the designer was talking about how he had a newer prototype that hadn't arrived in time for CanCon. It's a light little game where basically you're just trying not to go over, I think it was 13, maybe 9. I can't remember. Anyway, apparently so many ducks can hide. And if there was more ducks than either 9 or 13, then that meant one of them had to be a llama. And the point is you don't want to be a llama. So you don't want to put more than 13 ducks or 9 ducks. Anyway, whatever number of ducks in the pile.
There was a lot of games you played. It's hard to remember every detail.
I can't quite remember the number of ducks. But basically every card is either adds more ducks or takes away ducks.
Yep.
And you just don't want to be the person that, if I put too many ducks in, then Bronson has to figure out a way to get it under, else Bronson is the llama.
Yeah, and I don't want to be the llama.
No, you don't want to be the llama in this game. So, this is pretty light. It's kind of more along the style of Exploding Kittens sort of weight. But the art was pretty cool and the designer was awesome.
One loser, many winners.
Yeah, one chump is the llama.
Yeah.
So, and everyone else is the duck-tective.
Yeah, all right, well.
The duck detective.
To everyone listening, tag a duck, tag a llama.
One of the other games I played at the con was Rhino Hero base game, just because Logan saw it and he wanted to jump in and grab it. Lovely little Jenga-style game, but all done with cards and a little token rhino who's dressed up in a hero's outfit. Lots of fun stacking these cards up. It's in the con hall they had the aircon pumping, so we were actually almost fighting each other to try and stack as high as possible before the aircon blew us down, rather than one of us actually breaking the
environmental
the
hazard.
Yeah. Oh my God, there's a hurricane. So it was a lot of fun. Yeah, quick, easy.
Yep. Indoor game.
Sorry?
Don't bring it to the park.
No, don't bring it to the park. Yeah, make sure you're in a still environment.
Yeah, Rhino Hero is great, but I have tried to play it at CanCon and you can't get nearly as high as the game's intended.
No. I think we got 7 was the highest stack. And
wow. That's better than we got.
But the next one is just... And a lot of people around us kept seeing it happen and were having a laugh as well. So that was kind of nice to have that camaraderie with other people there.
I played Aloft. This was another prototype game. This was an interesting little one where you have a color and that's secret. So you might be yellow, Bronson, you might be blue, and Tony, you could be white. Mm-hmm. And then there's a bunch of hot air balloons, and each hot air balloon is 2 different colors. You're launching these hot air balloons and then pushing them up into the sky and getting them caught by wind, etc. And the idea is that you want your color balloons, or at least balloons with one of your colors, to be in the top right of the board by the end of it. And they kind of score based on how high they are in the sky and how far they are to the right.
Wow.
And the wind's blowing to the left. So interesting kind of thing of is Bronson green? Is that why he's putting it up? Or is he actually red? Oh, cool, he just moved one of mine up because that's got yellow in it. Are we working together? Is he just faking me, etc.? But also the balloons get in each other's way. You're like, I want to move that balloon, but there's 4 balloons on top of it, so it can't go anywhere. It still had a little bit of work to go, but I think this one could be quite promising. That was Aloft.
And that was a prototype?
Yeah, prototype. It looked beautiful though.
It sounds like a cool little strategy game, like a light strategy game though.
Yeah. It took 10, 15 minutes.
Nice.
With some good choices.
Cool. Fun.
Keep an eye out for that one.
All right, next cab off the rank, next game off the shelf is a familiar one, Codenames. What made this one a little different, though, was a house rule introduced by a friend of ours who was also at CanCon, someone who we regularly game with on board game night, Aaron. Shout out Aaron. And truly shout out to this because it was such a fun take on Codename. The twist here is the amount of cards that your clue corresponds to is always infinite.
Yeah. I played it with you there, Bronson, and like the house rule only came about because we kept losing. So I was on the team with Hockey and his son, and because we kept losing so often, it was like, okay, let's house rule this, just go with infinite, and it was still just barely scraped through and getting it right. But it was so cool being like, yep, cool. It was this like chocolate, infinite, like what the hell? You like look at the board like, oh yeah, 1 or 2 maybe, and like start. Do I push for that third one? It was a lot of fun to have that extra house rule in there for sure.
Yeah, highly recommend that specific house rule for Codenames.
Especially if you want to have a bit of stupid fun, or if you play with people you play with a lot.
Yeah.
Because then you can like, oh, it's this, that, and like infinite. And you're like, oh, maybe they only need 1. Like, who knows? Anyway, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Nice. I played Rats of Wistar. This is a heavier Euro game, I think put out by Czech Game Edition. And this is kind of like you're a bunch of rats that have escaped from a lab, the lab of Wistar, which is apparently a real place that really experiments on rats, although they have a bit in the rules that said we're not affiliated or endorsed or in any way associated with the Wistar Institute.
We do not support Wistar
yeah.
and their experimentation on rats.
Yeah, basically. But you're these cool, like, enhanced rats. So you're going to go into this kind of farmhouse and scavenge all this stuff to build your own cool rats contraptions. Oof. It kind of had a bit of Wombles of Wimbledon kind of vibe for me of like these people collecting trash and making useful things out of. And it's got a cute little mechanic of like you've got to explore the house, but you've also got to like dig your own little rat burrow and become the best chief rat.
Okay, competitive.
Yeah, it's competitive. It is a pretty heavy Euro with a decent amount of randomness. So I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm probably going to play it 1 or 2 more times, but the theme is awesome.
Yeah.
And it looks great. So I'm going to play around on BGA a bit more, but that's Rats of Wistar.
Next game I played, another one that I played with Bronson. If you couldn't tell, Bronson and I played a lot of games together on at CanCon.
Yeah.
Was one that I really enjoyed called Mush Mush.
Mush Mush. Sequel game.
A what?
Snowtails 2.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah,
Electric Boogaloo. But I'll let you talk about it, Tony.
No, that's fine. No, I've talked over all of yours. So go on, you go for it, Bronson. You jump it on the review.
All right, for the audio listener, we'll do this ventriloquism thing where it'll sound like Tony speaking, but actually I am.
In this game, you have your racing sled dogs, and you have 2 dogs that you got to pull cards and dictate how fast they're going, which one runs faster to turn on a track. This feels very like the fingerprints of Heat, Flamme Rouge, Formula D are all here on this game. And yeah, with how old this is, I can see where they all got their inspiration from this. And I just loved it. It was really quick. It was super tense at the end. Like, I think like first and second were 2 points apart. It was a great game. It was
easy to learn, difficult to master.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely really easy to learn. Like it was like, oh, I bumped into you. What happens? You just slow down. Okay, sweet. Nice and easy. Let's get going. Yeah,
look, I do love Mush Mush. I think this probably would have been the CanCon the first time in about 7 years that Jenny and I didn't play a game of Mush Mush. We usually, it's been a traditional game that we play because you can't buy it anywhere. And so
sorry for the audio listeners.
Sucks for you.
Come to CanCon. It's always in the library.
Yeah.
So
if it's there and I'm there, I'll play that game with you for sure.
Oh, yeah. If it's there and you're there, we'll, be.
I will set up the table with the come join, no experience necessary.
Yeah.
The thing I like about Mush Mush is sometimes you're looking at the board state and you're like, I'm going to crash in 2 turns. And I can't do anything about it because I'm on snow and dogs don't turn around all that quickly. And I'm just going to keep sliding into that wall.
Yep.
And it's like, I'll just try and make it as least bad as possible so I can get going again quickly. But yeah.
Such a quick game though.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You're not like stuck at a wall going 0 speed and then waiting for, 20 odd minutes.
I mean, you get to choose your track length.
Yeah.
And you design the track, how many buildings you want to be stupid enough to put on the track, how many trees, like
I did love that. Yeah, you control your own destiny of difficulty, and the map is like all these different ways. And like, okay, well, let's go this way this time. Like we just did the simple U-turn.
Yep.
And it was like, oh, what's all this? Like, oh, you can choose your track, blah blah. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, how old is this game? Like,
yeah.
So it was definitely ahead of its time whenever it came out.
And it looks beautiful.
If you see this game on a secondhand shelf or eBay or Marketplace, go for it.
Yeah, get this
It is
game.
good.
I think it retails of like on secondhand markets of well over $200. So,
if you find it cheap,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason it's still in the library. People have offered us money, and no, like because I'll never get it again. So,
If you find it on any of those places, let us know. I might be interested.
I played the Gang. This is cooperative poker, which sounds
I've heard
stupid.
about this one.
Like,
Yeah.
but then I would have said cooperative trick taking sounds stupid, and then I played the Crew, and that was great. I played the Gang, and I reckon it's great too. The disadvantage is if you have very different skill levels of poker, it doesn't work. If everyone's crap at poker or everyone's okay
like
at
Texas
poker,
Hold'em?
yeah, it's Texas Hold'em poker, cooperative. The idea is that without talking, you have to get the hands in the correct order.
Yeah,
so from best
fun.
hand down to least hand.
Very
the only
fun.
way you can do it is with poker chips. Basically, you're like, I'm going to be last this
Cool.
round, and you you get your two cards.
Face out,
No, hidden.
facing you.
Yeah, facing you.
So opposite to Hanabi.
Yeah, yep. So you'll know your hand,
Yep.
and then with your first two cards with no other information, you've got to kind of bet with everyone about where you'll go in the ranks.
Yep.
And then you do the flop, and then you update your bets. And you go, oh, well, after the flop, I'm feeling a lot better because now I've got a pair of sixes. And before I had a 6 and an 8, and that seemed pretty crappy. And then you do the turn, and then you do the river, or the other way around. I don't know. Anyway, and each stage you update your bet kind of thing. And then at the end, after those cards are all out, the 5 cards in the middle, you've got to finally all decide about what order those hands are in. And so you'll be looking over going, well, at the start, Bronson was like, yeah, I'm going to win. And then he started trailing off.
Yeah, so
maybe
maybe-
he just had ace high
Yeah.
and nothing worked out for him.
Yeah.
And Tony was like, nothing. And he's like, first, okay, so did he suddenly get a pair of queens? Like, because
Yeah.
a queen came out on the turn. So
did a
maybe
straight
that's
come
it.
through or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
No, he
Yeah.
had the 7 deuce because it never loose and
Yeah.
the full house comes up.
So yeah, really interesting, cool take on poker. The cards also all have this worn, grimy look. So it looks like a bunch of because the theme is that you're robbing a bank, and it looks like kind of like a stack of cards you could see like the Ocean's 11 guys
Yes.
playing with. And anyway, cool little game. If you like the Crew and you like cooperative card games,
Like
I reckon
The
worth a
Mind.
try. Yeah, and probably if you like the Mind, those kind of things.
Here's a game that I didn't think I'd be a fan of and fall in love with. I don't think anyone who knows me and the games I like would have thought I'd be into it. Barcelona.
Welcome to Barcelona.
This is Euro Crunch. This is fun. Aesthetic, complicated, convoluted. There's like games within games within games. Took us more time to learn it than to play it. Yeah, love it. I think it's gonna be my Euro.
Ooh.
That's a big claim. I'm looking forward to trying Barcelona. I did not get a chance, but it
Bronson
looks
could-
beautiful, and I've heard good stuff.
And Bronson can do the teach now.
Yeah.
Bronson, listen, you do the teach.
Oh
No,
my
I'm kidding.
goodness.
Yeah, Bronson, I'll teach you flip 7. You teach me Barcelona.
Yeah,
it's
fair
a deal.
trade.
Yeah.
Both
Or
the
even throw
same
in
amount
vast.
of rules.
But yeah, Barcelona, I would love to give it a bigger review, so I won't reveal too much about it other than this is a new fun Euro crunch right in the middle as far as complexity goes. If you're familiar with the genre of game, then yeah, I think you'd get into it. If not, and if you feel like you can handle like several mini games happening at the same time that all contribute to one score, then yeah, it's for you.
So it's Mario Party.
You know,
That's what it sounds like.
a little.
I mean, that's kind of the way a lot of modern Euros are going. Like, have a whole bag of mechanics and cool little things that you can do.
Yeah.
And it's how well that holds together.
Yeah.
separates them.
Well, yeah, if Mario Party was like moving a tram and buildings to different classes of residents moving into the new city of Barcelona in its emerging states, and there were, sentiments of caste system tiers, then yeah, it's a lot like that.
Oh, so it's exactly the same then.
Yeah.
okay,
It's
right.
I feel like we've played different Mario parties.
Upwards to cities is Mario Party to Barcelona.
Very nice.
Next up, I played Lacuna. Lacuna is a 2-player abstract, which has a beautiful little look. Basically, you pour out a bunch of flowers out of a tin onto a mat, and then it's an area control kind of game. Works really well, looks really pretty. Catherine played it the other night at our house and really liked it, so she might review it on a later episode.
Sweet. Next one I've got is one that got sucked into playing from the designers of this game, Chris and Sarah. Shout out, you lovely people. This is Athamon Collect. It's it's just a collection game where you lay out all the cards, and then you're moving this token around to try and get sets of animals, Pokemon-esque, you could say.
Any similarities to
So
Pocket
much
Monsters?
similarities. But I love it. Like, it's so good. Yeah, it's got like different animals that have only one stage of evolution, some that have 2, some that have 3, and you got to try and get all these, and you can do it competitively or cooperatively. So if you're doing it competitive, you can take the other stage of evolution from each other as you move this one piece around, so you're both beholden to each other. Or if you're doing it cooperative, you have to try and just get sets on your own and then have a combined score and try and beat your scores constantly. Heaps of fun, nice and quick little game. We loved it so much, I got the base game and the expansion with it in one hit. And the expansion came with a little campaign and stuff with it too. So definitely recommend this one. I saw it on Gameology. Now, it might be out of date by the time this comes out, but for $10. So,
Whoa.
Jump on and get this game. It's an awesome little game. And they have put so much love and everything into the artworks. It's like, if you love Pokemon and that sort of anime style artwork, get this game.
I played Surf's Up. This is by Good Games. Surf's Up is very similar to Get Bit, if you've ever played that. Get Bit's like where you're all surfers and you don't want to be the lowest surfer because then you get eaten by a shark and you have these Lego pieces that you like lose a piece every time. And Surf's Up is kind of the opposite. So you want to catch the waves and earn respect. And
Of
so
course.
it's the best surfer gets the wave and so takes the points for that wave.
I love a game based in reality.
Yeah. I mean, every surfer goes for respect, right? And occasionally blue bottles come out and you don't want to be the slowest
wow.
surfer because then you'll get stung by a blue bottle.
Hang on a sec. Surf, Blue Bottles. Is this Aussie?
It is. It's
Hey!
an Aussie designer, Aussie publisher. Great little, kind of... it's a simultaneous thing. You've got like 1 to 5 in your hand, and you got to play one of them. But then it's out for the rest of the round until you play a rest card where you just rest on your beach mat and pick all your cards back up. So yeah, it's a cool little game. Worked quite well. I'm keen to try it again.
I just want everyone to know Tony did the shuckers.
Yeah.
I did.
That's actually the little respect tokens have the little shuckers on them.
did.
And you can even flip them over and it's a hand the other way. So,
Oh, really?
so the 2 sides are the actual sides of the hand.
Have you played this before,
Nice little
Tony?
detail.
No, I haven't. I just love good shuckers.
Yeah.
Big respect.
Yes.
Sounds fun. Well, adjacent only in theme, but not in anything else, we have Land vs. Sea. Now,
Oh,
this
and
looked good.
by the same publisher.
Really? There you
Yeah,
go.
Good
What are
Games
the odds?
Publishing.
Yeah, shout out GGP. You know what? I'm gonna admit it. I was a little aesthetic sucker. I've gotten this game purely on the looks, purely on the assets. But when you're playing a board game, you are looking at the pieces, and I like games for those reasons. So I haven't played it yet, but I still bought it and I love it.
I mean, if we're talking about things we just bought, I've got a lot to talk about. then.
Yeah, but
Land vs. Sea is a great kind of Carcassonne-esque
Yeah.
tile layer that works well with 2 or 3 players.
Yeah, or 4.
apparently 4. I haven't actually played it at 4, but it's surprisingly good for a 3-player game.
It's rare to get a good 3-player game. Like, I always find
Especially
it just
when
throws
the
balance
title
out.
is Land versus Sea. You play it 2 players and you're like, oh, I see how
Yeah,
this
who's
works.
the land,
it's
who's
great.
the sea?
Yeah.
It works really well. And then they go, by the way, you can play this 3 players. You're like, no, you couldn't. And then you play it 3 players. You're like, this
they add
works.
that
the cut, The
No.
cartographer.
Yeah, the cartographer.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did take a quick look at the rules. Nice.
What I love about it is that on some of these little tiles, I have little things like the TARDIS or a rubber duck.
The art is gorgeous, and there's Easter eggs all over it. So yeah, it's
Bring
worth
it to
looking at.
games night.
I played Dwarves Defend Your Kingdom. This is by another Aussie designer, Ben Galea, I think it is. This is a cool little cooperative game where you roll dice as dwarves, and you get all different kinds of dice. So you get like a D4, which is like a crummy little dwarf worker, right up to a D12, which is a great dwarf bodyguard, you know. And essentially you start like in this ruined land or mine sort of thing, and you've got to go out as dwarves and reclaim your kingdom against all these little orcs and goblins and stuff that are running around and constantly swarming in. Yeah, Jenny and I have been playing this a bit. Actually, we really like it.
Here's a brand new one that you've probably never heard of. Carcassonne.
Ooh.
Sorry, Mists over Carcassonne.
Ah.
Yeah, it's a cooperative twist on the classic where there's mists, and with mists, obviously, come ghouls.
Yeah, that's why.
It's a common problem on a foggy morning in Bathurst. You're like, oh gosh, I hope
this
the ghouls.
morning driving down, had to dodge a ghoul on my way to work. It's crazy.
Well, yeah. Did you have any meeples there as well, connecting the road?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I call them road workers, but
Mists over Carcassonne is a cooperative twist on a competitive game, and it seems like, what? How do you do that? But you do. All it means is that rather than like trying to edge people off the points that they're trying to score by making things bigger rather than closing them off, you can both score points. And the game scales with its difficulty as well. There are like goals to achieve and limits to how many turns it will take in order for you to do that. Yeah, so it scales, and it's like, oh yeah, this first one was easy, this second one a little challenging, but still pretty easy. And then like by the third level, we're like, ooh, this is a bit tough. Really fun, and incentivizes challenge and co-op, and also makes a game that I think I've played to death fun again.
I played Veil of Eternity. This is like a little engine tableau builder where you draft cards that come out around a circle, and then you pay for those cards by selling some of the other cards, and then each card kind of gets activated once per round, and you build a little engine of stuff. It seemed pleasant, but kind of by the end of the game, we were all like, we probably would have built our engine completely differently had we have known the kind of cards that came out. I'm trying it again on BGA, and I'll probably play it around here as well. I'm just not sure on the game. I want to play it again, see if the engine actually groks when you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Or is it just going to feel like at the end of each game, you're like,
No,
it kind of didn't feel like the engine quite got there.
yeah, or the style of cards, I guess.
Yeah, Veil of Eternity is only 20 minutes, so it is easy to kind of re-go again. But yeah, I'm holding my judgment until another play.
Another one that I got that was very new. The designer was selling it himself. This was Eating Champs by Jason Toto Tam. Shout out to him for selling this at the con. It's a speed dice rolling game where you're trying to make noodle dishes, and you got to make 4 noodle dishes, and they get progressively harder. And your dice have different symbols on them. So for different ingredients, so noodles, eggs, mushrooms, kimchi. And then there's a side that's spicy, which means that it's too hot. You need to get that dice out of the way. And you're just rolling these dice, trying to get it onto your cards as quick as possible. A bit like Fuse that we reviewed ages ago.
Oh, yeah. Is this co-op?
No, this is competitive.
Right.
And so I got a tin, bought Bronson a tin. And so you can either have it as 2-player in a single tin or go 4-player head-to-head.
So good you bought it twice.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It was a good deal he was selling it for as well. So.
Yeah.
And I prefer to give the money straight to the designer.
Yeah.
No, heaps of fun. Just that crazy, chaotic sort of like dice rolling that I love so much. Nice, very quick game. And inside, on the back of the manual, there's a little actual like competition
bracket.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Competition bracket, so you can set it up on a games night with your family or whatever, because all you're doing is picking up and rolling them dice. And it's like, beat your mum. So and then you continue on, and then your sister won, so she continues on for another point to see who the ultimate eating champ is. Lots of fun.
Well, this is turning into the Toto Tam corner, because I also have a Toto Tam game. It's called Peep Spotting. If you're familiar with Where's Wally or
Macro Micro?
Macro
yeah.
Micro.
Yeah, very much that.
Yeah, if you're familiar with Where's Wally or Macro Micro, this is very much like that, but also not.
Similar, adjacent.
Yeah.
So it's like upwards is to Scrabble.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, this is probably the fairest comparison I've made all episode. So, Macro Micro, how big is that map?
Very big. I mean, I'm not good at paper sizes, but
think
maybe
it's
it's
an
like an
A1?
A1.
Yeah.
Well, the size of this map is 3 cards,
Playing cards.
playing
yeah.
cards,
So about an A5.
if
No.
that.
No.
No,
Smaller.
yeah.
A6-ish.
It's a playing card size.
Yeah, okay,
That's
yeah.
it. It's the size of a playing card.
Yeah, and so you've got to like find characters on these playing cards. It's black and white, monochromatic, black and white, super aesthetic. This guy is a great designer. Oh my goodness! Like I've just fallen in love with this guy's artwork. Mint. But yeah, and then
It almost looked like the Monopoly guy, like or one of the ones like
Yeah.
when we had a
Yep,
trial.
yep,
I was
yep.
like, it's that sort of aesthetic, that like soft cartoonish style in monochrome.
it's fun, quick, competitive, easy, fits in your pocket. It's the kind of game that a gamer could enjoy, but could also introduce to non-gamers.
I played the Fox Experiment. This is based on the Russian Fox Experiment where they're trying to domesticate foxes. They've been going for about 100 years now, and they've just been breeding foxes to be more and more friendly so that eventually you can kind of have foxes as pets. Well, that's not really the ultimate aim. It's just to see how domestication affects animals. And so they've been breeding them for like bigger, cuter eyes, nicer ears, cool spots, nice waggy tails, etc. So they've got fairly friendly foxes in the real world. Well,
Right.
I mean,
Anyway, you can look it
compared to
up.
an unfriendly fox, they're pretty friendly.
yeah, these are
Compared to a
more along
rabid
the
fox.
Basil boom boom
Yeah.
sort of scale, but not quite that. They're not fully domesticated yet. Anyway, you can Google that. It's a cool experiment. But this is a game about that experiment where you breed foxes and you're trying to get various traits and you get points for extra traits. The cool thing I like about it is you get to roll dice for the traits because, you know, genetics is a bit of a wild card. Just because the dad's got a really cool tail doesn't mean that the offspring's going to. But the cooler the dad's tail, the more likely the offspring is going to get a cool tail. So you get more tail dice and more spots dice and more ear dice and more, you know, bark dice, etc. You get to name every fox that you breed and then they go in the breeding pool that everyone else gets. So like I made Spotiana because, you know, it's a Russian cool fox. And then someone else gets to draft Spotiana the next turn and like go with that. So the foxes get better and better. It's just really cute artwork. The fact that you get to name the foxes doing all their traits. It just has a really cool vibe. It's a sort of mid-weight Euro and yeah, I'll probably talk about it more later in the year.
What does the fox say?
One of the later finds that I had at CanCon was 101, which has been around for a while, but
By Grail Games.
yeah, Grail Games, home hosed, local, not by Phil Walker Harding though. It's by his brother, David Harding.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, 2-player, competitive, and like binary basic language coding themed game. If you are a fan of The Matrix, specifically the green squiggly things on the screen in The Matrix.
Yeah, the box gives Matrix vibes.
Yeah. Not the story of The Matrix.
No, just the like
The green,
hacker
just
coding
the
kind
art-
of like
artwork of it all,
falling,
yeah.
falling ones and zeros
Yep.
kind of thing.
Yeah. So if that kind of stuff is your thing, which by the way, that kind of stuff is very much my thing. I'm a big sucker for Tron. Then yeah, this is the kind of game for you. Fun, quick, simple, 2-player, competitive, easy to learn.
Let's go to Japan. This was a great game that is all about planning your trip to Japan.
I thought you meant for real.
Yeah, well, no, because this is actually a game about planning to go to Japan more than it is going to Japan.
Right.
That's the theme. It's planning your itinerary. And then at the end of the game, when you score, you actually go to Japan and, well, not actually go to Japan, but you know, you pretend like you go to Japan and you talk about the story that you have based on how you've planned out your trip.
Right.
This was designed by a guy in America who in 2020 was going to go to Japan with his wife. And you can probably guess why
It's
that
a
didn't
COVID
happen.
game?
Yeah. But after their trip was cancelled, they realized they had all this fun planning the trip, even though they didn't get to go. And he's like, I could make a game out of that. I think he's done a really good job. It really captures the theme of fun of planning. So looks beautiful. I got to go to a cat rescue cafe and dance at a J-pop concert. And I did heaps of cool stuff in Japan. So let's go to Japan.
Kawaii. All right. I had the pleasure of playing a game that y'all won't be able to just yet because it's not released.
Ooh, designer game.
Designer game. This game is Jump to Jupiter.
But I have played this one.
Oh, okay. All right. The Royal You.
Yeah, well, I haven't. So I'll be like the rest of the audience.
Yeah.
Unless you have played it.
Okay. Jump to Jupiter is by Tegan Smith. Aussie, local, brilliant game. It combines the physical challenge of flicking these plastic coins that are weighted against a vinyl,
some kind of cool neoprene vinyl map.
Vinyl print neoprene base map of Jupiter and some of its moons. For those familiar with AFL, the same scoring system applies very, very loosely in that if you land on the planet, that's a goal, and if you land around its orbit, then that's a point for trying.
Such an Aussie game.
Yeah.
Nah, you did your best.
Yeah, but it's really fun. There's asset management and worker placement, and then it's also instead of the luck of a die. Well, there is a dice as well.
Yep.
But it breaks the norm of the luck of a dice roll, where it's the luck of where you've flicked the thing.
And different ships flick differently too.
Yeah. You've got your standard scouts, and they just one flick, that's it, and then you've got another one where it's like a double flick, double jump. I am really looking forward to seeing where this game goes. Yeah, hope to see it on the shelf, on my board game shelf, whenever that is released. But thank you, Tegan, very much for allowing me the pleasure and privilege to play Jump to Jupiter.
Dune Imperium Uprising. This is obviously hotly off the press, kind of the follow-up to Dune Imperium. If you played Dune Imperium, you have basically played Dune Imperium Uprising. Big difference is sandworms. You can now actually send the sandworms into combat.
Muad'Dib.
And there's also spies and a couple other changes, but really, if you liked Dune Imperium, you'll like Dune Imperium Uprising, in my opinion, and vice versa.
If you liked Dune, would you like Dune Imperium?
Completely different game.
What if you didn't like Dune Imperium? Does Uprising give you anything different?
I don't think Dune Imperium Uprising would change your mind that much.
Okay.
I like Uprising a little bit more, but honestly, if you hadn't told me it's a different game, I'd be like, oh, that's a module for a new one.
Right, yeah. Oh, there's an expansion.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
It was a fun game that didn't really have much rules or a learning curve. The only limits being your imagination. Eat poop, you cat.
What? Really, apart from the one that we'll announce later of the most played game in the con, Eat Poop You Cat was actually played by the most players. Over 120 people played this game.
And I was one of them.
What is Eat Poopy You Cat? What?
So the published name that's not in public domain is called Telestrations, if you've ever played that. This is basically one person writes a phrase, then you flip over a paper, and then the next person draws that. And then you flip it over, and then the next person writes what that drawing is. Put that convention style. We had big A3. A3? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an A3 art book. Yeah.
A3 art book. Each convention goer just had a look at the art book and flipped over the next page and did whatever it was. So we've got some great stories.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, where did I jump in? It was around when there were cats dancing at a disco.
Oh, Cat Dance Revolution? Or were you past at just cats at the disco?
I was meowing at the discotheque.
Okay, nice,
For
yeah.
fans of Alcatraz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one actually started off with the dragon hides its treasure hoard under the waterfall.
As in, that was the starting clue.
That was the starting prompt.
Okay.
Was that your?
Nailed
Did
it.
you start this prompt?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Jenny and I always start the prompts for each day. So,
Right,
it's so fun to watch those. If you come to CanCon, we always have the previous years there, and you can kind of flick through them and just have a laugh.
Nice.
It's great. Highly recommend playing Eat Poop You Cat with as many people as you possibly can.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Very fun.
I played Sears Catalog, which sounds terrible. The box looks terrible. It's looks like a 50s housewife ordering from the Sears Catalog.
David mentioned this one to me.
And you're just like, what is this game? And then I played it and it's great. It's a ladder climbing game or a shedding game, where you keep trying to put higher values on and you're trying to get rid of all your hand. The twist in this one is if you're left with less than 5 cards, you score the lowest card minus 1 point for every other card.
Right.
So if all I have left in my hand is a 13 at the end of the round, I score 13 points minus 1 point because I've got 1 card in my hand. If Tony went out, he scores 0 points because he's got no cards left in his hand.
Huh? Okay, right.
So yeah, just that twist, and it's got rules about, you have to play at various points. This just works for a little trick-taking game. Great little twist. Everyone that I played it with, like first round, they're all like, huh? Oh, wait, no. And then second round, you're like, okay, I got it now. Oh, no, it still didn't work. Okay, well, this time, it throws a wrench in ladder climbing and, simple to play. Everyone I played it with loved it. I'm looking forward to playing it more. I also played Nekojima. This is, you are building a Japanese electric system with cats.
Oh, it's just the rope one?
Yeah. This
right.
is a dexterity where you build ropes and poles and you've got to hang cats on them. I've only played it cooperative, but look, if you like dexterity stacking games, this is one of the great ones, and it was super popular at CanCon. Lots of people building Japanese power lines and trying to balance cats on. Highly recommend. Okay, well, very soon we're going to cross to a live recording that the guys did with
Live.
hockey. Well, at CanCon itself. But
Live
before
at
that,
recording.
I want to just let some news, which is probably already known by lots of people, but the most popular game at CanCon this year was Sky Team.
Yes,
which,
Sky Team. Woo.
I just want to point out was our number 1 episode.
It
we
was.
did.
Hey.
So the board crew calling things out early.
That's it.
Stay
Ahead of
on
the
board
curve.
with us and we'll give you the goods.
Yeah.
Well-
Have you seen the expansion that's coming out for it? Total
I
Links or
have
whatever?
seen the expansion. I have not played the expansion yet.
Neither
but
have I. I'm
looks
looking forward
cool.
to it, though.
Yeah, it should
Yep.
be great. Anyway, let's cross over to Hockey and the Guys.
Hello and welcome to this special CanCon episode of The Ball Crew. I'm joined today by the Prince of Horror, Hockey,
Hey, g'day everyone. How are you?
and the Master of Mischief, Bronson. How you guys going?
How'd you find out my real name?
Probably all the board games you've reviewed so far.
Yeah.
Especially from the con,
We
end of day
are-
1.
At CanCon, yeah. It's in Canberra. It's a 3-day event and board gaming, tabletop gaming, lots of shops. So you can come. It's free. Actually, it's really cool because it's free to come in
Yeah.
and everything you want to do here you have to pay for. But otherwise, you can wander around. You can. There's also, you might find some designers that are making games, like they're sharing their games, so you can come down. Maybe you can get some games for free anyway. So
Yeah,
it's really good.
a lot of free demos of games and stuff
Yeah,
from these
fantastic.
designers and stuff in their market stores, and then essentially the only section you're paying for is to play the games in the games library.
Yeah.
But how have you guys found it so far?
Oh, me pretty good. I've been coming to the CanCon for maybe 15 years ish.
Wow.
So 12 to 15
So
years.
beginner, really.
I started off as a miniature gamer and then just kept coming for board games. So, yeah, cool. And it was great. I think it's such a good thing. And yeah, how about yourself?
This is my first year at CanCon. It's pretty exciting. I have heard lots about it, and especially from Ben and Jenny.
They've been involved with the board game library for forever.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it
there you
feels
go.
like.
But it's been great to learn about a whole bunch of board games from people who've played them before. Access to this kind of wealth of knowledge is pretty hard to come by, and it's great that there's a space like this to facilitate that.
That's it. Were you here early enough to see that nearly every table here, and that would have been, I feel like 500 people at least.
Yeah.
It felt like it. It felt like so many people here throughout the day.
I mean, I got here late when I came with Logan. And we got here at 5 and the tables were still packed.
Yes,
It was
it
wow.
was
It was just
moments-
how many people there were. It was
Yeah.
insane.
We're moments from wrapping up for the day before the doors are shut, and there are still people here. We are not the last ones.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not the last one.
It's currently
It's been
like
good.
10 to midnight and the games are still going.
Yeah, it's been amazing. So-
Speaking of last ones, though.
Yeah. Good segue.
Thank you.
Yeah, hockey. Anything you want to tell the listeners?
Yes. So I've stepped back from being on the podcast because me and my family are going traveling Australia. We bought ourselves a caravan and we're just disappearing for a few years and going to see what this lovely land brings us. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I won't be around to do any gaming or podcasts or anything like that. So I feel like I'm missing out on a lot, sadly, but going on a big adventure regardless. So.
Hope you roll a lot of natural 20s
Yeah.
on your adventure.
Yeah, the vehicle holds up. Everything's good. Even if it's an 18 and you had to pass that 17 check, that's fine.
That's it.
Or the other way around with Cthulhu. I can never remember.
Yeah,
how that goes.
yeah, true. Yeah,
But it's been wonderful to like both play board games with you, but also to be part of this with you.
Yeah,
You've really introduced me to a lot of horror games and the world of Cthulhu board games.
I'm real into Cthulhu stuff now since we've played so much of it.
I'm a Cthulhu fan, so understandable. I'm glad that you guys have enjoyed it, and I've loved being with you guys and everyone else in the gaming community that we have. And it's sad to leave, but
Well, it's not goodbye.
Not goodbye.
It's see you later. You will be back again at some point.
It's been a
Look
pleasure.
forward to all the stories.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all the places that I get envious of.
It might take a little while, but I'm looking forward to getting bored with you soon. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone. And
Today, or what new ones have you guys played today?
I got to play King of Tokyo Duel, and I like King of Tokyo. And Duel is a 2-player version of it because you can't really play 2 players with that game normally. And I really liked it. It's sort of like a push and pull type thing where you can win by obviously eliminating the other player, but there's 2 markers that you can move back and forth and try and get them to your side of the board to win. I really liked it for still 80. If you play King of Tokyo, you know 80% of the rules. This was really good. I enjoyed it. So, and not a big box, so I could take it in the caravan if I wanted to.
Small box game. So thanks for getting bored with us. And Hockey again. Hope you have a great holiday.
Cheers. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you again, Hockey. It's been wonderful getting bored with you. You've really opened my third eye up to the Lovecraftian horrors. Hopefully, we get to, stay in touch, Discord away, BGA. Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful adventure.
Already started that sort of stuff. Did an online, some of the people did an online night with him just the other day.
Yeah, we played Harmonies. It was great.
There you go.
Very cool.
All right. Well, as we do at the end of every episode, if you were at con right now and you could choose one of those games, maybe we'll go with 2. What ones would they be?
You know what? Okay. Jump to Jupiter and upwards. The Magic Labyrinth.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Nice.
it really was. Now, if we're excluding the, beta tests, pre-game tests, then Barcelona.
Nice.
So, you already gave us 2, and I've taken 1 more. But that's the kind of greed you get when it comes to playing games at CanCon.
Nice.
How about you, Ben?
Look, I do love Jump to Jupiter. I think that would hit my top 3 of the 2. And I am really loving Dwarves Defend Your Kingdom, and I was so surprised by Flip 7. There's so many great games there, but those 3.
Yep.
Easy.
Right. I would want to play Aloft. I like the sound of that one.
Yeah.
And the Mists Above Carcassonne.
Yeah.
And just for the hell of it, a Mush as well while we're at it.
Yeah.
Great game. Great game.
So good.
Anyway, thank you again. And we will get bored with you next time.
Bye-bye.
See ya next year at CanCon.
Yes.
And in a fortnight on podcast streaming.
Take it away, Dean.
Save me.
This has been the Board Crew. Hey, thanks for listening. You can join the conversation, have a chat with us, and maybe even tell us a game you need to review by rolling over to our socials. Just search the Board Crew on Facebook. See you next time.
Hey.
That's fun. Deke's got the profession.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's working well.
This has been the Board Crew.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Roll on over to our social. I love it.
Yeah.